into Coach Craig's Sports. Looks like we're lagging quite a bit this morning, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully, it gets better as the stream does move along. But if you're joining me for the first time, first of all, welcome in. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream for today, September 14th. It's a Thursday. We got a very small slate in general today, so should be a pretty good one to talk about. Should be a pretty interesting one. Didn't do a video yesterday, had a couple other things going on yesterday morning, so I wasn't able to get to that. So we won't be doing a recap today, but we'll be taking a look at the weather report for the 4 games on the main slate for today. We'll go over to FanDuel, talk about my core 5 picks for today. It's going to be 1 pitcher, 4 hitters, a combination of past history and their respective matchups, and kind of their recent history as well. And then last but not least, we'll get over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for today overall. Going to be a day that I'm probably going to play a little bit lighter today. A good day to mix and match, though, since we only do have 4 games on the slate. But without further ado, we're going to get over to that weather report. So, like I said, 4 games in total on the slate. There is kind of like this oddball game here with the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, which is later, but it's a makeup game, so it's not on the main slate. So, just going to throw that out there, at least for the FanDuel side. I'm not sure if any other sites did throw it on their main slate for today or not. But so we're in Toronto. They're in a dome, so we're not worried there. So Toronto, Texas is fine. Baltimore, 0% chance of rain for them and the Tampa Bay Rays. Really, the only game that we'll be looking at today is going to be this Colorado game, because in Chicago, weather looks fine there for the White Sox and the Twins as well. But in Colorado, we got an 89% chance of rain at this point in time. This looks like one of probably the better games to target outside of this big rain factor. So, you might want to punt this game altogether. It might end up being a 3-game slate. Unfortunately, it's the last game of the night, and Colorado is one of those places where the weather could change throughout the day, so we'll just keep an eye on it as the day moves along. If anything does majorly changes, if we get like an update that's going to be a postponed or something like that, I'll try to leave that down in the comments below. But that's kind of where we're at for weather for today. 4-game slate might turn into a 3-game slate. Could make it pretty interesting overall, but definitely a slate that we're going to want to mix and match today quite a bit. So even if a guy is in the core picks, make sure that if you're going against like the opposing pitcher that you're throwing out there, maybe that's a one that you want to kind of avoid on the day overall. So we're going to stop sharing this screen. We'll get over to FanDuel, talk about my core 5 picks for today. Like I said, going to be a really good day to mix and match. There's no true standout plays today, but I went with Kevin Gausman as their pitcher today at $10,300. He's been pretty solid once again this year. And it's a tougher matchup against the Texas Rangers. I'm not going to lie. He's averaging just under 40 fantasy points per game, $10,300. Second most expensive pitcher on the slate, I believe. Kyle Bradish is the most expensive. He's been pitching extremely well as of late. Pitched pretty decent versus Tampa Bay this year. Last year wasn't that great versus them. So a little bit more risk there with him. Even though Gausman does have a little bit of risk of his own going against Texas today, who does have a pretty good hitting lineup. So ERA is almost about 3.3 on the year, 11 wins. So like I said, pretty solid season for him. If you kind of look at what he's done in totality on the season, it's been pretty good starts more times than not. You'll get the couple lower ones here and there, which you're going to get with most pitchers either way, but definitely a guy that I do like today. He's got decent history versus Texas. This year versus them, he had 37 points. Last year was 34 and 21. So not like a long list of history there, but some decent history at that. Then we are going to move down to our hitters. We got Jorge Polanco as our first one. He's $3,200, which probably a little bit more than I like to pay for him, if I'm being completely honest. But going against Jose Urena today, pitching for the White Sox, making his second start for the White Sox. A pitcher that has a long track record of not being that great at the major league level, outside of like one season where his ERA was pretty good, but his FIP was still pretty high at that point in time. Jorge Polanco, 7 for 7 versus Jose Urena in his career. So he has not gotten him out one time. Looks like a pretty good play there. He has at least 1 hit in 5 out of his last 6 games. 261 batting average, 12 home runs, 41 RBIs on the season, averaging just over 10.5 fantasy points per game. So definitely a guy that I like today. I like playing some of these Twins just in general as well with that matchup versus Jose Urena that is going to look very, very good today. So we're going to get off of him. I will say Polanco's been hurt quite a bit this year too as well. So he's a guy that you could play at second or third base. If you want to throw him over to third base and play another second baseman, definitely an option on today's slate as well. And then at shortstop, we're going with his teammate Carlos Correa at $2,900. So for Correa, he's 2 for 2 versus Jose Urena in his career. He's got a hit in 8 out of his last 11 games. There's 4 multi-hit games in there. A little bit down season for him, especially with that batting average only at 229. 18 home runs, 63 RBIs, averaging about 9 fantasy points per game at $2,900. But, if you're going out there, you're making that twin stack, I think Carlos Correa and Jorge Polanco are going to be two of the guys that you want to have in your lineup. Probably going to be looking at Max Kepler as well. Then we're going to move down to our outfielders. So we have Cedric Mullins as the first guy up here at $3,200. A guy that's been kind of in a weird platoon of sorts as of late, with Aaron Hicks kind of doing well since he came over from the Yankees. So Mullins mainly been going against right-handers. They got right-hander Aaron Savali on the mound today. He is 4 for 6 with 2 home runs in his career versus Aaron Savali. So some pretty good history there. At least one hit in 3 out of his last 4 games that he has started. So, not too bad as of late. He did a home run, I believe it was 2 starts ago. So does have some pretty decent upside there. I like the matchup, even though Savali's been actually pitching pretty well so far this season. So kind of a nice resurgence for his career at this point in time. But, some of the Orioles hitters have hit him all right, whether it is Cedric Mullins. Ryan Mountcastle is another guy that's hit him really well, but he's dealing with a shoulder injury, left yesterday's game with that. So he's probably not playing today. And then last but not least, I'm going with the cheap option here, kind of a dart throw, and Gavin Sheets. Obviously, we have to make sure that he is in that starting lineup. You can play him at first base. You can play him at outfield. He's $2,200. 3 for 6 versus Kenta Maeda in his career. He's got at least 1 hit in 2 out of his last 3 starts, which, he's kind of on a little bit of a layoff there for a while. But, some of these matchups where he's had good history versus the pitchers, he's done pretty well for us in DFS as well. Like I said, obviously a guy that we need to make sure is in that starting lineup at this point in time. And then if we look at what he's done on the season, it's only a 206 average, 9 home runs, 37 RBIs, but he's kind of been more of a part-time player as of late. So that's kind of hurt him a little bit, but he still has some pretty strong upside to be had there as well. But with that being said, if you would ultimately go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $13,200 remaining, $3,300 per player. So still some room and opportunities if you want to pay up for some players. Not too many great pay up options in terms of hitters today, but so probably looking more like a balanced build approach at this point in time. But definitely should be an interesting slate overall. Definitely one I'm looking forward to. Like I said, mix and matching is going to be a big name of the game today. And, like I said, probably playing a little bit lighter today just because on these smaller slates, there's a bigger chance of having less variance, first of all, and then a bigger chance of getting duped, even if you do end up on the top as well. But with that being said, we'll stop sharing this screen. We'll go over to the YouTube community tab and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for today overall. Once again, the cheat sheet is 100% free. It's up on the YouTube community tab. It's up on Twitter. It's up on Facebook. So definitely be sure to check it out no matter which site you're on as you're building out your lineups today. Looks like we are loading a little bit. We will get talking about that cheat sheet overall. So let me click here. And looks like we're just lagging a little bit once again. So I do apologize for that. But in terms of today's slate, there's only 4 games in total. So I only have 3 teams that are listed here. The Blue Jays are another very interesting team. They're not on here, but I think they're pretty interesting because they do have decent history versus Nathan Eovaldi. And Eovaldi's pitched really well this season. So kind of which end is going to pan out there could be interesting. If you want to get a little bit different, maybe go on the Blue Jays today. But the Twins are the biggest one for me today. Like I said, they're going against Jose Urena. Has not pitched that great throughout his career, although he keeps getting latched on to teams and kind of used as a spot starter, filling back into the rotation guy, even though he's not that great. So definitely Carlos Correa, like I said, 7 for 7, or Jorge Polanco 7 for 7 versus him. Carlos Correa 2 for 2. I'm interested in Max Kepler, who's been doing pretty well as of late, and then kind of mix and match which other twin that you would like in your lineup from there. Giants are going to be a pretty popular one if that game ultimately does not get rained out. I think they're going to be one that we're very much considering today. Look out for Michael Conforto. He is expected to return at some point during this series. And he does have 4 home runs in his career versus Chase Anderson. So if he ultimately is able to go today, he could be a very interesting, kind of like appealing option there with some upside and probably not drawing a lot of ownership if he is ultimately back off the IL today. Excuse me. And then, just a couple of different Giants that you can mix and match in there. JD Davis has been doing a little bit better as of late. Thairo Estrada has been doing, reasonably well. He's got decent history versus Chase Anderson as well. And then even Jack Peterson there as well. So a lot of different options there. And then the Chicago White Sox, Kenta Maeda is kind of a hit or miss matchup. It's just kind of the third team I want to put in there as a stack. Some of their hitters do have good history versus him, but it's a smaller sample size as well. And then, like I said, if you want to add the Blue Jays onto this list, you can definitely do that. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of MLB DFS core picks for today, in terms of the top GPP stacks and the weather report. If you guys have any questions whatsoever related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me Excuse me, getting a little bit dry throat there. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play for today's slate overall, whether it's someone from my core five picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks. Odds are it probably is, just because we got such a small slate today. But if it's someone else, definitely interested in hearing who that is for you today. And then with that being said, as always, we'll be trying to do any weather updates that do come out throughout the day, and then as many of those starting lineups as I can get to throughout the night. Do have another soccer game that I'm coaching later today, so might miss like one or two here or there, but for the most part, I will have as many of those up as possible. So I'm a little bit after 4 o'clock is when I'll be busy, but definitely be on the lookout for that, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, that's all that I have kind of at this point in time. If you are brand new, checking my channel out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps with the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we got MLB DFS, for the next couple of weeks, still Monday through Friday. And then we got CFL DFS once a week. That video will be coming out, early this afternoon. So definitely be on the lookout for that if that's something you're interested in. Then NFL DFS, my cheat sheets will be up on the sports affiliation website, and then probably doing a short video of some sorts either tomorrow or on Saturday for NFL DFS as well. But with that being said, also be sure to check out Prize Picks, Parlay Play, and BetUS, all down in the description below. If you're interested in betting, if you're interested in signing up and you haven't done so already, use the links below, use the referral codes and everything else like that. And you can get some pretty good sign up bonuses when you do for the first time. Great time to do it right now. We got MLB, we got NFL, we got CFL going on, we got college football going on right now. NBA is right around the corner. That'll be next month. So definitely a good time to take advantage of that if you're interested in from the betting angle. If you guys have any questions related to DFS or betting, always feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. I'd be more than happy to help you there as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have at this point in time. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, whether you're watching live or on replay. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS tonight.